Good morning, young Margaret. How are you?
I'm quite effulgent, thank you, Vida. How are you, lovely?
Yes, wonderful, thank you, Margaret.
Just out of curiosity, what have you contributed to women's rights?
Well, where do I begin? Now, Margaret, I was honestly appalled by the way male small minds controlled us women. So I set out on an extravagant journey which would change the world forever, and for the better.
Well done, beautiful. However, that is a very acute accomplishment compared to some of my amazing, inspirational, and awesome efforts.
Is that so, Margaret? Please share.
Well, my father was disappointed when he failed to have a boy.
Oh, I wonder why.
Anyway, being one of the smartest people in the world, despite only going to school for 3 years, I was devastated by the way women abided to men in whatever way they asked. They didn't realize the amazing gift I had, Vida. It was time for me to stand up.
Now, Margaret, settle down a little. You do know I loved a bit of banter, throwing my weight around a little. Some would say the UFC is based off some of my signature moves. It was an ideal way to gain attention. While I was in my prime, I created the Great Women's Suffrage League in 1891. I collected numerous petition signatures, and in 1899 I decided I had to do more and single-handedly carried women in Australia to be able to vote in 1902. Some would say I am the reason women are allowed to vote today.
Now, Vida, turn it up. That is absolute nonsense. So you're telling me Chuck Liddell learnt all his famous moves from you? Are you kidding me?
Yes. In fact, I'm saying exactly that. You could say that I am the best female fighter that ever lived and ever will live in the future.
Your despicable, lying, and stupid mind hurts my ears. Vida, it stings.
Anyway, as soon as the law passed for women to be able to vote in 1902, I straight away went for glory and ran for Prime Minister. I don't know what went through the minds of our country, but for some reason, Margaret, they hired the one and only flog, Alfred Deakin. I mean, no one will even remember his name in the future. He won't even have a university named after him.
Thanks for that, Vida. Did you know I could read and write by the age of 3?
Are you even paying attention to what I'm saying, Margaret? At all?
Now, Vida, I'm a transcendentalist. Politics stuff up society. Haven't you read my hit journal released in 1840? It's a great read. I'd recommend it to you. Because of my amazing intelligence, I was able to cause quite a stir by many of my articles released in the newspaper. These focused on how men are all ignorant wretches and how women are just as good, if not superior. I was assertive and received hundreds of letters each day, ranting about how much of a tool I was. It didn't bother me. I asked them if they could read and write by the age of 3. And that was the end of the conversation. Being the first feminist in America, these ideas were controversial and revolutionary. I was the talk of the town all over America.
Well, Margaret, you really do love yourself. That's wonderful. So pleased for you. Anyway, in 1911, England were having trouble with gaining feminist rights. So they called upon me, the one and only, the great Vida Goldstein. At this time in history, women were being jailed for sticking up for their basic human rights. And I stepped in and changed English history forever with my heroics. I was almost there, but when the war interrupted, I verbally attacked, physically attacked. If I had have stayed there for just one more year, I might have got the double up of changing women's rights in both Australia and England. And at that time, I was part of the anti-war industry in 1916, and it's fair to say that it went very well.
Good form, Vida. In 1845, I published some of the most famous and influential books in women's rights history. My love letters to all didn't leave a dry eye in the room. When they read them, you could say it was the 50 Shades of Grey of the 19th century, but a bit more in the heart. Unfortunately, my love life was not the same until I met my star-crossed lover in Giovanni Angelo from Italy. And let me tell you, there was a half-century of grey in the bedroom. Now, Vida, I ask you, how was your love life?
Oh, Margaret, being a feminist that I am, I'm not a fan of guys. I had minimal interest in having a male counterpart. I cannot let the great individual that I am, Vida Goldstein, give myself and my body to a small-minded, ignorant specimen that did nothing to deserve me at all. You could say that I'd prefer donuts over a hot dog.
Well, I'd prefer hot dogs, as you know, especially Italian-made. Giovanni made me realize that not all men were the imbeciles that I thought they were. He gave me love, his body, his view on life, and I was able to educate him to be more of a superhero, being the smart lass that I am.
I didn't even need a fellow superstar in my life. One was enough. Me. It's great to see the impact that I have had on the Australian society today, to see that all women in England and Australia are allowed to vote. It's no coincidence at all that those two countries I was prominent in both display such freedom for women, all because of me, Vida Goldstein, relation to Todd.
Good on you, Vida. I was the first and the greatest feminist there was. Seeing that I have a good 59 years on you, it's fair to say that you have learned from one of the greats. No, sorry, the great. You know, 150 years down the track, they are still selling my wonderful, amazing love letters that only citizens can dream of writing. So, it's time to say farewell.
That is correct, Margaret. I shall leave you on your way.
No worries. You haven't aged a touch.
Neither of you, Margaret. Goodbye and farewell. Enjoy your hot